My mother-in-law set our house ablaze and was arrested. This is my second update, and I'm still reeling from the sheer disbelief of it all. We made a grave error in dismissing my mother-in-law's threats as empty words. We truly believe she was all bark and no bite. Ironically, speaking of bites, our dog is the real hero in this nightmare scenario. Bless his furry soul. It all unfolded during the night. My husband and I are deep sleepers, lost in our dreams, completely oblivious to the danger. Had our dog not leaped onto our bed, barking frantically and jolting us awake, we likely wouldn't be here today. As a firefighter myself, I immediately recognized the fire was already too intense to tackle on our own. We managed to escape through a window, thankfully without any injuries. Someone had already alerted the fire department, and to my surprise, it was my own colleagues who arrived. A surreal and unsettling experience to see them battling flames at my own home. They fought valiantly, but the damage was catastrophic. Our house is uninhabitable. MIL was apprehended and essentially sealed her own fate with her confession. She openly admitted that she had clung to the hope that her son would come to his senses, end our relationship and pursue women. When he didn't, and she was ashamed of what she considered a deformed son, she decided it was better to eliminate him than have a gay son. Her words made it clear her intention was to kill him. Consequently, the charges were upgraded from arson with intent to damage property, which carries a lighter sentence, to arson with intent to endanger life, a much more serious offense with potential life imprisonment. Our lawyer believes she'll likely face several years in prison, even if not the maximum, as no lives were ultimately lost. Her confession has severely hampered any defense her lawyer might have. And then, she uttered something truly absurd. Well, my son's faggot husband is a firefighter. Why couldn't he save his house? In the dead of night, abruptly awakened without any gear, tools, or equipment, completely blindsided by the fire. Was she serious? Does she genuinely believe that being a firefighter means I can extinguish a raging inferno with my bare hands? Many people have a movie-inspired perception of house fires, flames, and light, but the reality is utter darkness. Smoke engulfs a room within minutes, plunging it into complete blackness, rendering your own hands invisible. A house fire is always a descent into a dark night. We are currently staying with friends while we navigate the process of finding a new home. Our clothes, documents, passports, marriage certificate, everything is gone. But these are just material possessions. They can be replaced. We are alive, and that is paramount. My husband is irrevocably done with her. He is profoundly hurt that his own mother wished him dead simply because of his sexuality. If any vestige of hope remained for reconciliation, it has been utterly extinguished. He never wants to hear her name again. Her homophobic hatred nearly cost us our lives, and we bear some responsibility for not taking her threat seriously enough. We were aware that some gay individuals have homophobic parents, but we never imagined they would resort to attempted murder. Perhaps that's why we were so unprepared for this level of malice. Setting fire to someone's house, that's not just a just no, that's attempted murder. Honestly, the audacity to ask why OP didn't save the house after she set it ablaze. Smash that like button if you're as gobsmacked as I am, and subscribe for more Just No madness. Sweet revenge, I rearranged Mil's furniture. Oh, you guys, it was glorious. Using a throwaway account because reasons, longtime lurker, first time poster, you know the drill. Let's dive right into this story. My husband and I have been married for ages. Mil was mostly BC with sprinklings of full-blown just no tendencies. I've been on low to no contact for about a decade now, and honestly, my life has been so much better for it. DH is totally on board because, well, less MIL drama means more romance for us. Back in the early days, I genuinely tried to get on her good side. Naive, sweet summer child that I was, I thought she should be happy for DH. I cooked, cleaned, hosted gatherings. Most people seemed to like me, but she was subtle and sneaky, so DH didn't really pick up on her behavior. I tried to explain it to him, but I didn't have much luck because I was completely unprepared for someone like her. We went on our honeymoon a week after the wedding, just enough time to settle into our small apartment and get comfortable. We were gone for a week and left mail with the keys to collect mail and such. You guys, when we got back, she had completely rearranged my kitchen and living room, thrown out some of my photos and knickknacks from our bedroom, and I'm pretty sure she even tossed some of my lingerie. I was devastated and cried to DH. He got angry and talked to her, but came back with the classic excuse. She can't understand why you're upset. She was just trying to be helpful. She didn't mean any harm. Cute. The waterworks from MIL, completely throwing DH off because he'd never witnessed woman-on-woman territorial behavior before. He just repeated her spiel and offered to help me put things back. He did, sort of, although he made the kitchen even worse, bless his heart. MIL definitely never taught him basic kitchen skills. Sigh, but I learned a crucial lesson. From then on, whenever MIL was pulling her stunts, she would wait until we were alone, look right at me, and give this evil little smile and nod, kinda like those sup memes, just to make sure I understood she was being deliberately unpleasant towards me. I learned from the master, truly. Mill was a pillar of the community, heavily involved in church and charity, and utterly charming to anyone she deemed worthy. So here's the main story. Mill is older now, but just as sneaky as ever. If anything, old age has refined her skills. She's perfected the helpless old lady act. She has volunteers who bring her meals, read to her. It's quite the setup, really. Recently, she had a week-long hospital stay, and DH got her house key to collect mail and things. Well, I might have made a copy of that key, without DH knowing, of course, because revenge was brewing. During that week, I took some sick days from work, wink wink, and let myself into her house to clean her kitchen. I tossed out some broken porcelain and other unnecessary items, took photos off the walls, and stashed them in the closet. Then I organized the linen closet, the coat closet, Emil's own closet, and both bathrooms. I mostly left the living room alone. Sadly, didn't want DH to suspect anything, you see. Then, on the day DH was supposed to pick her up from the hospital, I volunteered to help him clean her house for her homecoming. He was a little surprised, but I played the let bygones be bygones card. I said I'd help with the cleaning and then leave so he could help MIL settle back in. She's mostly independent, just needs a bit of daily help from a CNA and DH checking in. So we cleaned, mopped, vacuumed, got everything sparkling. I went with DH to pick her up, sitting innocently in the back seat. When we got to her house, Emil immediately sensed something was off, though she couldn't quite pinpoint it at first. Then she noticed the missing pictures. Mill, what did you do with my pictures? DH and me playing dumb. What do you mean? Mill, you stole my pictures. Me, oh, MIL, no, I just helped DH clean, that's all. DH confirmed that's all we did. I sweetly offered her tea and she snapped at me to stay out of her kitchen. She stormed in herself and then shrieked, "What have you done?" I gave DH a confused look, and he repeated that we had only cleaned the counters, dishes, and mopped. MIL was absolutely furious. I told DH that my presence must be upsetting her and maybe I should leave. DH, completely bewildered by his mother's overreaction, agreed, so I cheerfully told MIL I'd be going and DH could call me when he was ready to be picked up. That's all DH heard. He didn't see the evil smile I flashed at MIL because he was turned away from her, and you guys, I gave her signature nod. She was incandescent with rage. DH told me on the drive home when I picked him up later that she had accused me of all sorts of things. That's when I said, "Oh, the poor dear, her mind must be going." He agreed, she's getting so old after all. She really should have been nicer to me. Now I get to help choose her nursing home, and trust me, I know exactly how to play the helpful, supportive role. Thanks, MIL. Parental wedding interference leads to dramatic money return. I'm engaged and excitedly planning our wedding for next fall. We envision a very intimate affair with a guest list of just 11 people. We even plan to wear outfits we already own, a nod to our first meeting where she wore a suit and I was in a white dress. Our close friend is crafting custom rings for us, and we're opting for a brief ceremony, essentially just signing the marriage certificate, followed by a celebratory meal at our favorite restaurant. Out of the blue, my parents deposited £10,000 into my account, and her parents did the same for her. We hadn't asked for any financial contributions. We contacted both sets of parents to express our gratitude, but explained that we were financially comfortable. They insisted it was a wedding gift, so we thanked them again and agreed to put both sums into our joint savings account. Then MIL started fixating on our outfits. When we mentioned my dress and fiance's suit plan, she launched a 2-week campaign to persuade fiance to wear a dress to look pretty for the wedding. Every attempt to reiterate our outfit choices and reasoning was met with her insistence that we both needed to buy traditional wedding dresses. Meanwhile, my parents were applying pressure regarding our guest list. Despite our clear desire for a small, intimate gathering, they presented us with the expanded guest list, including distant relatives we've never even met. Our attempts to reinforce the small and intimate concept were completely dismissed. Things escalated when we met both sets of parents for lunch. They revealed that there had been a misunderstanding. Her parents' money was actually a dress budget specifically for purchasing dresses for both of us. My parents' contribution was earmarked for the guest list, intended to cover a larger venue and catering for a significantly expanded guest count. We excused ourselves from the table to have a private discussion. We quickly agreed that the money was not worth the strings attached. We opened our banking apps right there and initiated the transfers to return the funds. Returning to the table, we calmly informed them of what we had done. Their reaction was immediate. They accused us of being childish. We firmly stated that we would not be dictated to. My mother and future ML promptly burst into tears, while both fathers looked visibly angry. They argued that the money was intended to help us, but we reiterated that we would not accept gifts with conditions. We restated that all wedding arrangements, including outfits and guest list, were already finalized. We emphasized that our decisions were final and we wouldn't be accepting further suggestions. They retorted that we were being unfair by denying them any input. We thanked them for the lunch, placed 20 pounds each on the table. Our meals were roughly 15 pounds each, and left without another word. While we felt justified in the moment, we've since received messages from our siblings suggesting we were rude to our parents, who were just trying to be nice. Now we're questioning if we overreacted. Perhaps we were too harsh. Conditional gifts are just bribes with strings attached. Returning the money and walking out. Textbook boundary setting. Sibling gaslighting is classic just no manipulation. No overreaction at all. My stepmother-in-law deliberately destroyed my hair. When I was younger, I went through a lot of difficult times. My hair became my only true refuge. I know it might sound silly, but it was my reality. Whenever things felt like they were falling apart, I would turn to my hair as a way to regain control and express my emotions. Cutting it, dyeing it, styling it in unconventional ways, it was a way for me to feel better and in charge when everything else felt chaotic. Back in 2011, I gave myself a bold 80s inspired purple mohawk, which involved shaving a significant portion of my head. That period marked the last time I truly felt completely out of control of my life. Since then, I've allowed my hair to grow, mostly leaving it untouched except for regular trims and maintenance. This year, after the birth of my third child, my hair had reached an incredible length, cascading down to my thighs. For me, this long, beautiful hair symbolizes how far I've come in my journey toward mental well-being and overall happiness. It holds immense personal significance. Which brings us to the present. With 3 children under the age of 5, my very long hair is almost always confined to a ponytail, braid, or bun. Little hands are just too tempting for curious toddlers otherwise. This practical hairstyle choice has, for some inexplicable reason, become a major point of irritation for my husband's stepmother. Every time I saw her, without fail, she would comment on what a waste my hair was on me. She'd make snide remarks about how a mother shouldn't have a rat's nest like mine, or something equally unpleasant. She's generally just annoying and attention-seeking, so I usually ignore her. Until yesterday. I was sitting on my F-Files couch, breastfeeding my youngest, enjoying a pleasant conversation with DH and F-File about the TV show we were watching. Suddenly I felt a sharp tug on my hair, and before I could react, I heard the distinct snip of scissors closing. I turned to see my mother-in-law and my 4-year-old daughter standing behind the couch, both giggling, with mother-in-law holding a large chunk of what had been my hair bun. The 3 of us just stared at her, dumbfounded. She looked like a cartoon villain in that moment. I was utterly devastated, fighting back tears in front of my children. DH immediately erupted, yelling, asking her if she had lost her mind. My 4-year-old started crying, which then triggered Mill, who burst into tearful sobs, claiming, "It's just a joke, it'll grow back, we thought you all would laugh." The whole situation spiraled into chaos. DH arguing furiously on my behalf, my 3 children and I crying, Mael dramatically sobbing, and Fiel desperately trying to restore calm. We ended up leaving abruptly, with DH telling his dad to seriously consider divorce, joking that being married to an overgrown 8-year-old was probably illegal. I might have actually chuckled at that in any other circumstance. DH drove around, frantically searching for a salon that could take a walk-in appointment, and I called my SEO for support. She met us at her stylist's salon. The stylist thankfully was off duty but came back as a favor. Looking at my mangled hair in the mirror was horrific. Large chunks were missing. The length was completely uneven. It was a disaster. I felt like I had lost a part of myself. Luckily, the stylist was incredibly skilled and managed to salvage my hair, cutting it to just above my shoulders. It actually looks quite nice now, but I still feel a deep sense of sadness every time I look at it. I honestly don't know how long it will take to get over this. MIL sent a couple of half-hearted dismissive apology texts, something along the lines of sorry, but don't be such a baby, hair grows back, you know. Anyway, I'm a frequent lurker on this subreddit and it felt like a fitting place to share this story. Thanks for listening. It's just hair, says the woman who just committed assault with scissors. The audacity is truly breathtaking. What is the most unbelievable it's just a joke excuse you have ever heard from a Just Know? Share your stories in the comments. Mom tried to upstage sister's wedding in white, so we left her behind. Just to preface, I previously posted about this in AITA, but some suggested posting here as well. Also, I've chosen the success flare because it feels fitting, although I know opinions were divided on my other post, posting from mobile, so please excuse any formatting quirks. There are a few extra details here that weren't in my original post. To summarize, my sister's wedding was originally planned for April, but obviously that got cancelled. Recently, she and her fiance decided to just go for it and had a small COVID-safe wedding last weekend. We aimed for 10 people total, including the brides and officiant, maintained social distancing, wore masks when feasible, and took all necessary precautions. My mother has a long history of making events all about herself. For instance, she arrived 15 minutes late to my high school graduation, or she completely skipped both of my sister's graduations. She disapproved of my college major and refused to attend my graduation, even hiding my sister's car keys to prevent her from going. My 17-year-old sister ended up taking public transportation alone for hours because she didn't want to let me down. She showed up halfway through my wedding ceremony in sweatpants, creating a scene because we supposedly gave her the wrong time. We absolutely did not. She insisted on being the first to hold my babies. Absolutely not. So, we anticipated she would pull something at my sister's wedding, especially given her past homophobic remarks about their relationship. We don't have a relationship with our father, and due to COVID, there wasn't a traditional bridal party. I ended up taking on a hybrid role of father of the bride, brother of the bride, and maid of honor. Part of my responsibility was to manage our mother. The night before the wedding, my wife and children stayed at my mother's house, while I stayed with my sister. The plan was for my wife to drive our kids and my mother to the wedding since mom can't drive. On the morning of the wedding, my wife sent me a photo of my mother's chosen outfit. Not only was it white, but it was strikingly similar to my sister's actual wedding dress. My wife politely suggested she might want to choose something else, but apparently this white dress was the only nice thing she owned. She even locked herself in the bedroom so my wife couldn't even try to find an alternative for her. When my wife told me this, I instructed her to inform mom that there was a change of plans. We would pick her up in the nicer car I was using to drive my sister, so she could make a grand entrance with us. She readily agreed and didn't suspect anything when my wife and kids left on their own at the original departure time. As the title suggests, my sister and I never went back to pick her up. During the drive to the ceremony, I explained the situation to my sister. She wasn't at all surprised by our mother's behavior. She did suggest we call mom before the ceremony started to give her a chance to reconsider, and perhaps I could quickly go pick her up if she had changed her mind and chosen a different outfit. Mom never answered the phone, nor did she call any of us back, so we proceeded with the ceremony without her. Unsurprisingly, mother is now furious, but honestly, we all had a fantastic time. I know some might view our actions as harsh, but I thought some of you here might find it relatable or at least an entertaining read. Don't let anyone sabotage your special day. Wearing white to your daughter's wedding, predictable Just Know behavior, but leaving her behind? Genius. Smash like and subscribe for more Just Know wins. What's your favorite Just Know power move? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.